How's it going, laser bruisers? Up, I'll be Sixkilla. Welcome back to Head as Code. We're heading onto the train to head to our second puzzle station thing. So I don't know what to expect when we get there, but it'll be something that's like a house, not like a station. And some puzzle to get through, and hopefully some sandwiches at the end of it all, as a reward for being a good boy. The train arrived in the middle of the daydream, and we all stepped in for destinations unknown. The train closed its doors, and we're going with Jasmine on this time. And finally it took off. This time we were heading in the direction we hadn't explored earlier. Very little words were exchanged comparatively to our earlier escapade. I zoned out after a bit. Apparently while I did so, the twins left at the first stop we had. I forced myself to wake up from that moment after a while. Looking over at the others, they were all naturally segregated into their teams of two. I was also very close to Jasmine, so I could tell something was a little different about her. She was a little nervous. Do you want to leave at the next station? Oh, yeah, that sounds like a good plan. The train stopped after another half minute, and we disembarked without fanfare. I only questioned her after the train stopped once we were outside of it. I figured what was making her nervous might have been something the others weren't meant to hear. We stepped into the lobby and the door did its magic. I wonder what would happen if only one of us stepped inside the place. Would the door still close? I chased that thought away since I needed to address Jasmine over what she might have found. Anything specific on your mind, Jay? Oh, you can tell, huh? Well, I wonder if this place... I listened. For all I knew, it might have been incredibly important. This place is kind of, you know, it's weird, right? Did you figure out? So I was thinking, well, I was hoping that there were bathrooms. I looked at her, somewhat surprised. All of this for bathrooms? Maybe she needs to take a shit. Oh, I haven't seen any, I don't think. But maybe if you look around here. She went up the stairs at my suggestion. I followed after her, but I was much slower. There wasn't the same kind of desire welling up in me. I was also still in shock from seeing the sudden shift. I really thought she'd figured something out, but this? This is a laboratory. She stated the obvious once we entered the main room of the station. A lot of the stuff was scattered around, stuff that I wasn't too familiar with. Dissection tables, pots containing stuff in formaldehyde, complex computers, even a microwave oven was here. All stuff I wasn't too familiar with, except for the microwave oven. Jasmine didn't look disgusted by any of the formaldehyde, but I couldn't stare at them any longer than a few seconds, and only if necessary. I really hope there are bathrooms here too. I felt my stomach turn a bit at the contents of these pots. There are some doors on the sides of this place. One of them looks like it won't give, even if you ram a car into it, huh? Look at how solid it is. What does the other one lead to? I think that's the exit hallway. That means the bathrooms are outside. She left the room to wander the hallway outside, giving me a head start in the search. I wasn't too happy about this since she left me alone with all those disgusting things in the jars here. I chose not to look at those things until she came back. Here we go. Oh, I still love that animation. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. What do we got? I took a glance into the microscope, but what I saw was so disgusting I almost threw up my lunch right there and then. Horrible, horrible vision. That's right, there was absolutely nothing under examination. It made me sick. Sick, I tell you. What a waste of lab equipment, gone unused for who knew how long. Terrible. And I realized it was because I didn't put anything to examine under it. I looked around and spied a few of them close by. Sliding in one of the little examination thingamajigs, I renewed my attempt. It looks like two circles. One's very dark blue and the other is very dark purple. They're almost the same colour. I wonder if Corporate would want me to find the difference between these two pictures. This floor is squeaky clean. That's weird since everything else looks like it's gone unused. Did someone pass by to clean the place earlier? There was a plethora of unanswerable rhetorical questions to be had for sure. I tried to turn on the computer, but nothing was working. No button did the trick. While there were many ways to turn on something, the only way that was available to me was the use of the power button. Maybe if I'd been more suave. Well, I could always give it a shot. What's a beautiful piece of electronics like you doing in a place like this? I spoke directly at the computer screen. Obviously nothing happened. It was a bad pickup line anyway. So, come here often? Even worse. I was thankful Jasmine hadn't been here to witness this stupidity. No wonder the computer refused to talk to me. We're not good enough for that computer. These things were big machines. They're kind of like servers or something? Data storage maybe? Better not mess with it. Why not? Who cares? Just break everything. So much stuff on there. I couldn't make heads or tails of what this stuff was. Bottles? Plates? Tools of all kinds. Oh, I know. It looks like the operating table next to me when I go to the dentist. There's the drill, the pincers, the hammer, and the anvil, you know, to break your teeth apart. Then they forge you a new set out of heavy metal teeth, sharp as a shark's teeth. Obviously none of this was true. If it was, I would have gotten the never get cavities again with shark teeth dental plan ages ago. Yeah, me too. That was one big ass switch. That's one big ass switch. Better not touch it. That's so fucking cool. Useless to search, but cool anyway. Yeah, it is. What the fuck is it? I rummaged through the contents of this table. Magazines, a microscope, some science stuff, some more science things, and science objects of all kinds. And over there was another science item too. So much science. Among the science, I saw something a little more familiar. It was a USB stick. Finally, something I recognized and can use. And as for its purpose, I had no idea. At least, I had it now. You can put it in the computer, but it doesn't turn on, so that doesn't help. When I looked in there, I saw another room. Another room full of scientific things? What is this? And what is this huge tube in the middle? It looks really suspicious. I backed away, unable to open the door. It didn't even have a handle. That's the door Jasmine took when she went to find the bathrooms earlier. Suffice to say, it led to a hallway and, you guessed it, the bathrooms. When I opened the door, it squeaked a little. The door hinge needed a good dose of oil to be serviceable again. Come to think of it, door hinge. Door hinge. Why was the door hinge the only rhyme for the word orange? And was that true, or was that some kind of urban legend? If only I was a master linguist, I could have known the answer to these questions. Why be a master linguist when you can be a cunning linguist? Oh my god. Oh, that's a good one. Hey, Jay. I called for her and she came by momentarily. Her trip to the bathroom was over. You're not going to tell her your cunning linguist joke, are you? I was thinking about oranges and... Oranges? Did you find weird food in here too? No, it's about... Oh, so the colour then. No, it's about the door hinge and the cunning linguist. Crap, I told the whole thing out of order. Jasmine was nothing but confused at my words. The cunning linguist? Who's that? How did someone make it in here while we were up together? Was it the ninth person or something? Where are they? Never mind. It was just a dumb thing. Nothing to do with an actual person. Despite my failure in delivery, Jasmine was back, and now would now search this place alongside me. And now we get to search gross stuff. Look at all this stuff. Jay, what do you think this is for? These? These are cooking utensils. Huh? How do you... Do you want me to bake a cake? I didn't answer for several moments, too horrified to put my wits together. Yes. Yes, I would like that. Thank you. I think I'm good. Where's my fucking cake? Hey, what's the etymology of the word formaldehyde anyway? I'm not really a master linguist, so I wouldn't be able to say. That's my chance to say my earlier pun. I cleared my throat and ran my hand through my hair, looking confident about this one. Perhaps you aren't a master linguist, but I may be of service as a cunning linguist. Again with the cunning linguist? You say you're one? You're cunning. And it backfired immediately. Did she just not understand the wordplay? Or was she making fun of me? My hand dropped back down to my side and I admitted defeat. One of these days, Jasmine. What, pow, right the kiss. I watched as Jasmine looked into the microscope. Are you trying to see if we could shrink ourselves to a molecular level and slip through the door's atoms that way? That's not how reality works, I don't think. But no, I was just curious. And? Feeling less curious now? Yeah. There were two circles the same colour, but no other discernible qualities. I guess I'm better off looking at some other stuff. How strange. When I looked in there, I saw another room. Jay, look at this. It's weird, isn't it? And the door doesn't even have a handle either. Can't open it. I can't see with your head in the way. What's weird? There's another room that looks like this one. A little. It has a big tube in the middle. Let me see. I walked back and let Jasmine see. I noticed her brows furrow from the side. That's very strange. And you say we can't open this door at all? There's no handle. It clearly opens from this side too. It's just not accessible for some reason. What do you think that is? Maybe it's like a bunker, you know? The door looks solid enough for that. Why would someone want to make a bunker in a science laboratory above a metro? Because they were making zombies. If I had an answer to these questions, I think I wouldn't still be here. She made a good point. I backed off from the door entirely following that exchange. It still nagged at me though. I didn't know what its purpose was, or what was behind it. This thing won't turn on. It's not plugged in. I cursed. How could I have fallen for the stupidest mistake? Need to integrate your power supply at source. I leaned down under the desk and looked at the plug. Just as Jasmine said, it wasn't plugged in. Do you see an outlet anywhere? One over here. She called from the corner. I had to twist my arm a bit to throw the plug that way, but Jasmine managed to catch it. She went to insert it swiftly, but I caught her arm before she pushed it in. You're way too eager to put that in, Jay. That's what she said. Oh, I should be fine. It's like, it's okay even if it goes all the way in one go, right? I don't think so. Such things require finesse. You have to tease it a little. Oh my god, you're way ahead of me on the sex jokes, right? They can't go in dry like that in order. I mean, it has to go in dry. You don't want to wet a fucking plug before you plug it in. You have to make it wet first. Tease it? Making it wet? Isn't that dangerous? What if I felt a jolt? I mean, if you feel some kind of jolt, aren't you doing it right? You sure it should be that intense? Yeah, why not? If you can't feel it course through your body, then are you even using the right, you know, size and all? If it was like that, I think I'd pass out. Oh, of course not. It wouldn't be that bad. Just a lot to take in at once, I guess. I mean, I could help you with it. I could use my own and... Your own? Do you have one too? Do you think it'll fit? Well, it has to. It's made for that and, well, what do you mean by... I think it's just better if it's wrapped in rubber first, at least. That should prevent all the issues, no? I mean, that can be one way, though I'd say if you did that, then you'd feel it less. But isn't that the point? Oh, of course not. The whole point is for it to feel good. Is he some kind of masochist? Huh? To say it would feel good, are you that kind of a person? Because I don't think... Oh, no, I'm not a masochist. I'm just a fucking sexual deviant. It's fine. Okay, good. Then you have no issue with me putting it in. You putting it in. Yeah, I'll just put it in. Doesn't need that much preparation, trust me. But wouldn't that hurt? I mean, for me. Nope. There's no chance of that happening as long as you let me do it promptly. It's okay, I'll put it in now. Wait, I don't think I'm ready for that kind of thing yet. She didn't answer, just pushed the plug into the outlet. I remained there stunned for a moment. Wait, what have we both been talking about? Interrupting me, the computer booted up. While I remained there stunned, Jasmine rose up and took a look at the screen. It's locked with a password. Did you find any of that? No, I didn't. I slowly rose back up to my feet. A password? That was what we needed to find right now, but what about the earlier topic? I had to talk to her about it. Jay? Yeah? Never mind. I was far too embarrassed to bring it back up. Good. I tried entering QWERTY as the password, but it didn't work. And neither did password or Hunter 2. Try admin. That's what I always try. Since I was all out of options, as those were the only ones that existed, I decided to plug in the USB stick. Wait, did you try Smiley's birthday too? Do you know the date? Otherwise, we have 365 possible outcomes. She didn't know it, and neither did I. As I spoke, something happened on the screen. The USB stick I inserted triggered something to run despite the account not being accessed. Hey, what's going on? Looks like it's cracking the password on its own. What did you do? I just put this thing in the PC and it started doing it on its own. Really weird if you ask me. Is Smiley playing a practical joke on us? Why would you give us a crack for his own password? Huh, maybe the goal is just not to see us fail? It's really odd though, I agree. 2 minutes passed. The password was still not found. 5 minutes. I looked at Jasmine, but I could see she had surrendered herself to the wait. Cracking a password is sometimes pretty close to a miracle, you know? But it's staggering how fast a computer works, especially this one. I think I saw liquid cooling in it. Very advanced. Hey, mine has liquid cooling in it. And it's still a piece of crap. No, that's not fair, I'm sorry. But you know, miracles aren't that uncommon by its definition. You know about Littlewood's Law, right? No. That seems like something not many people would know. It's just that under his definition, miracles are one special event to a million normal events. So basically a miracle is one of a million. And when I say miracle, I don't mean a magic trick or anything, just a special event. The thing is, if a miracle is even an event that happens that rarely, you'd think that you wouldn't personally see one during your entire lifetime. However, what if you weren't just one person? I don't understand. What do you mean by not just one person? If you put two people somewhere, then you only need 500,000 events to happen to each of them on average to account for one miracle. And then 3 people would further divide it into thirds and 4 quarters. And if you have 1 million people in the world, then the chances of seeing a miracle happen is much likelier. Well, I mean, it's 1 to 1 then. And how many of us are out there right now? Thanks to the law of truly large numbers, we're so numerous that miracles happen very commonly, in fact. Or at least special events, not impossible events. Doesn't that sound crazy? Since we're a few billion people, thousands of miracles are happening at the same time every day, and multiple times a day most likely. So what you're suggesting is that the computer cracking the password is doing the same thing? I mean, it's trying a lot of times, so clearly it's hinging on the law of truly large numbers, which says that with enough attempts you'll eventually see something happen. And it's working so fast, I wouldn't be surprised if it resolved the password situation in only a few more seconds. She looked at the computer intently, but such a thing wouldn't make it work faster, obviously. Well, all I'm trying to say to pass time is the more attempts you have at making something work, then the likelier the thing is going to work. Unless you try over and over, doing the same thing and never changing anything, because that's just insanity. Yeah, I know that definition. And just as at that moment, the computer finished its solving. Huh. I didn't actually think it would do it that quickly. I'm not going to complain though. I gazed at the screen, and upon it was the sequence to enter for the doors outside. Most likely. It read 2022-20427. So, I mean, it's the year 2022 right now in the game. So 2022. And then we got 220427. 2204? Yeah, I don't know. It looked like a date, but it also had other numbers in it. Well, that's a long code. Do you think it's that easy? Would it really give us the solution already? Feels like we were set up. Yeah, we were in here maybe 15 minutes or something. Is that really all we have to do? We both split up from the main room and went down each side to try and try the code in the door. It worked. The door opened with a sliding noise. Assuming Jasmine entered it correctly on the other side, we can now use both sides of the station again. Since I had that side, I went back to the lounge. I patiently waited for Jasmine to join me again. What about the solid door in the laboratory? You know, the one with the circular window. I went to it just now and pushed with all my strength, but nothing. Couldn't open it. Looked like it was fully welded in place. Maybe we have to come back later. Jasmine shrugged, and we waited for the train to arrive. This room had been strange. Train? I had something I wanted to talk to Jasmine about, but before I could say anything, the train arrived. It stopped at our station, seconds after our arrival. Oh, that's remarkably fast. It's almost like it had been waiting for us to come by, so it could try and jump scare us. You told me before, trains don't wait for us, and now you keep saying that? My perspective on trains has vastly changed since, Jay. You should keep your mind open. There's no gain in having narrow-minded cultural assumptions about our train friends. What are you talking about? It's simple. Trains are people like you and I. That construct, the elegancy of the train shape, the materials used within its construction, all of this couldn't have been engineered by anyone other than the world itself. In short, the train has feelings too. Machines are alive. To assume otherwise as well, preposterous. Let's not be racist about trains, okay? It's just a train. Let's go inside before it drives off. She pulled me before I could place another word. I admitted defeat and stepped in. Our guy's a big weirdo. The doors closed behind us as the voice called out to us. It was an old voice. Pro-chain station. Security. No, not that voice. Another voice had been drowned out. Ah, there you are. It seems we've taken the same train after all. I was taken aback by his sudden appearance. What were the chances we would take the same train again? E was along with him, though she was sitting on a chair further in the compartment. Do not worry, I'm simply perceptive. It was not so difficult to make it back out relatively quickly, even with a partner such as he who doesn't have a full skill set. A few seconds later, the train stopped at the station which housed the twins. Neither of them were waiting for the train, so it didn't take long for the doors to open. And then they closed again. Finally, it took off once more. In the small amount of time we had before we made our way back to the lounge, I could probably talk with somebody. Just one person, though. Well, let's try and talk with E. I left Jasmine and A together for them to talk, instead of taking out a couple of pens from the bag I had. I figured perhaps E would have some idea of what we just found. I wrote about the strange secondary lab to her, and she replied with an inquisitive look. I could tell, even if her upper features were obscured. I can't say I know what its purpose is. You found a laboratory, you said. Can you describe it briefly? I wrote on the paper some more. I didn't have a lot of time, but if she asked for details, then perhaps she figured something out that I didn't think about. I exposed the stuff that had been lying around, the formaldehyde, the computer, the password cracking, and what I saw in the second room. While waiting for her to answer, I glanced at Jasmine. She was relaying what she knew to A, except she completely omitted the second laboratory. I see, or well, I guess I don't. Sorry, I'm not very helpful. I don't know what that's about. It's a laboratory, though. If it's a laboratory, though, maybe... She pensively brought up her hand to her headset. Was it related to that laboratory? Suddenly, I believed that perhaps the link she shared with this place may be more conventional than ours. However, before I could ask her anything else, the station came into view outside the windows. The train was going to stop. Extending this was an exercise in futility for the time being. The train stopped at the station within the next half-minute. After you, then. The old man went to fetch E, while I left the train with Jasmine. Are you sure we need all this secrecy? Information is important here. You never know who you can trust. We took our conversation further away into the lobby. Then we went up the stairs ahead of the old man and E, who had just come out of the train. I didn't want to say we can't trust them, but the lounge is becoming our hangout spot rather quickly. It made me comfortable, but Jasmine's presence was slightly unnerving. I didn't truly believe the old man was suspicious of our secret, or that he had any right to be doubted. After all, he'd been helpful so far. He gave me a way to talk to E, and he shared information. I think that's too paranoid. Look who's talking, Mr. Afraid of Everything. Hey, that's not fair. Life's not fair either, but I shouldn't be harsh, you're right. Listen, I just think there's a bigger puzzle to solve beyond each individual station. What makes you say that? She closed her eyes and thought about it intensely, reclining on a couch. I joined her. Even if I got mad at her a little, it wouldn't last very long. I don't know, I just feel that way, I guess. We found that door and we have no way to open it. Back in the first station we explored, Ray and me, we found some other stuff. There was a hidden room. It just felt very strange. Look, I just want to get out alive. Maybe we'll get to find all this out later together, but we need to have a later. Jasmine was no longer merely thinking about the situation. She leaned towards me insistently, as if seeking my approval. I could do nothing but nod. Something felt wrong, but I didn't really have a grip on reality. Where were the others? Where were the old man and the disabled girl? Shouldn't they have come up the stairs too? Instead, I found myself prey for Jasmine's ideas. She was right in a way. It was difficult to trust anyone but one's close friends. However, the thought that Jasmine felt differently flashed by again. I couldn't shake that feeling and it made me feel quite uncomfortable too. Jasmine was dependable, but Jasmine was also a person who usually went with the flow. She didn't really force it. Was she a leader? Totally. But she wasn't one to direct things, and she'd been quite bossy so far, and yet she was the only person I could fully trust here other than Marco. I felt something against my cheek. It was her hand. She was holding my chin and she turned my head towards her. All I could see now was Jasmine. Let's just get out of here alive, okay? Anything could happen here, and actions speak louder than words. Don't you agree, yes? That's why some things are better left unsaid. Her breath was heavier. Was she flirting? Was this her way of flirting? I couldn't understand. If she's holding your chin and talking directly to your face, yes, she's flirting with you. My heartbeat picked up. At that moment, I didn't realize how much of a dumb teen I was being. I felt nervous, like some sort of clueless, overeager virgin. But if she was scared in here, she would understand that perhaps we might die here. If that were the case, and my feelings weren't unrequited, then what she was suggesting, sure, I want to get out of this alive too. What she was suggesting was to make my attraction to her more obvious, to let my actions speak instead of my words. Since A and E hadn't come up the stairs yet, we were still alone here. For all we knew, this game would kill me, so there was no other option. I had to do something and let her know that maybe she felt the same way. As the moment in which our heads were close to each other stretched further and further, I started thinking about the train again. We've been taking it before. Marco, Jasmine and I were on our way home. That was a strong memory. It was all the stronger now. Why was I thinking about this stupid train again? I had to think about Jasmine. Maybe I could do it. Maybe I could tell her. But I didn't have the time. As quickly as the situation had turned into something out of a bad romance movie, it was like it was cut like a knife through butter. Dazed, I pulled away, almost embarrassed, sitting back into the couch. In the room, 2 figures had walked in. They were A and E. Accident and emergency. Following after them, 2 more came in, Ray and Marco. They were both fine. My joker of a friend looked at me strangely, and I realized I was still somewhat awkwardly sitting down. Thanks, Jasmine. Trying to hide a boner. All of you are back. I'm so glad you're fine. Yeah, we're back. No sign of the blonde furies. I had to calm down a little. Ray's tone made me feel in danger, even if there was no danger at all. Why did I feel so tense? Was it because of Jasmine's actions? I stood up to prepare for a stroll. I needed to clear my head, and the best way was to stretch my legs. I'm just going to have a look around for a bit. You don't mind, right? No, that's fine, go for it. She gave me a complicit smile, as if she was aware of the effect she'd had on me. Meanwhile, Marco dropped himself onto the couch, taking my previous spot. He could enjoy the heat I left behind if he wanted, sure. Ray sat on the opposite to it, apparently glad he finally got a comfortable seat, since he'd only had a stool before. I don't know which station they explored, but it didn't look like he'd been comfortable there either. I left the lounge. I thought perhaps I could use this time to take the train and revisit some old stations we saw previously. Cutting my thoughts short, the old man joined me in the lobby. Yes, my legs could use a stroll as well. Shall we go? Do you want to head to a station or something? I squinted a little, incapable of hiding my suspicion. This is very ill-timed. I did want to be alone during this, so nobody else would think I was exploring a new station. Why was A here? Was he hiding something too? This was a little dangerous all of a sudden. Perhaps Jasmine was right. Or maybe Jasmine's paranoia was spreading to me. Usually I was the scaredy cat, not Jasmine. This thought pattern should have been what I came up with, not something she suggested. I sighed to myself. The moment one started doubting everything, they wouldn't be able to trust anything. The old man arched a brow, unable to read my mind. Well, did I go with him or stay here? The choice was between going alone with him or staying where everyone else was. One seemed more dangerous than the other. Jasmine's behaviour weighed heavily on my mind too. There was something a little wrong with her. If I stayed, perhaps something bad might happen too. Something bad might happen, such as getting into a real relationship. I was so afraid of commitment. I scratched the side of my head in my indecision. I shook off Jasmine's warning after making up my mind. Whatever this old man did, I could handle. I was fit, 24 years old, and I wasn't a coward, damn it. Until I was, at least. I wanted to know more about him either way. Perhaps this would give me an idea for the possible link between him, E, and the rest of us. They were dressed in such strange fashion, they clearly knew each other. Alright, sure, let's go. Where to? He smiled at me. Agreeing to his proposition was putting him in a good mood. He answered while we walked to the station proper. I suggest we leave for the station you've explored before. Do you believe that would be a good course of action? I mentally cursed. If I disagreed with him, it would look like I was hiding something, and if I agreed, then he'd find out what Jasmine wanted to keep the others from. Him figuring it out, at this point, was an eventuality, no longer only a possibility. Even if I chose to stay, he could go on his own, and that's why it was probably better if I went with him. Now I understood why Jasmine was so paranoid. This man was cunning. More cunning than I thought. Fine, let's head over to the science laboratory. What exactly was in the room you explored with E again? It was an infirmary, but there was nothing consequential in there except for something which I will share with you, since you are being so agreeable. But it will have to wait until we get to the station. The train is here, so let's go. We all entered the train. As usual, the little chime announcing the train's departure rang, and the door was closed. Alright, I guess it's a little bit short, but we're going to wrap this one up here since we're leaving the lounge and heading back off to do more stuff with A this time. our partners just keep switching up. He's certainly afraid of commitment, for sure. Anyway, I guess we'll see what happens with A. Hopefully we don't get murdered by him, or murder him, or something else terrible. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.